All right, I'm going to head out. I'll be back later.
Take care, Leah. Good luck. Bring back students.
For sure. All right, so the recording has started. So we're here for our second session. And today we're talking more about content creation, creating content pages, sharing files, and then that inline video and audio tool. So everybody who's been in the OPI, I have forced you to use it in Moodle. So now we'll look at the one in Brightspace today also. We did a little bit last week, but we'll do it a little more poignantly this week. So let me go ahead and share my screen for us to get started. All right. Can you guys see me? Well, you and my 18 bajillion tabs. But all right, this one. So after you have logged into Brightspace and you have accessed your course. All right, so right now it always takes you to your course homepage, and then we can click on this content area, and this is where we're really going to be building your course. So the first thing would be all of the different side units. I guess real quick, if we can get a show of hands maybe, how many people are kind of starting from scratch? You want to raise your hand versus, okay. And did anybody import their Moodle stuff? Okay.
Not yet.
Sounds good. So, all right. So when you're starting from scratch, this comes up with like table of contents, and this whole sidebar area is empty. So all you have to do to begin adding your modules, and however you want to set up your course, is up to you. If you want to do it by weeks, if you want to do it by topics, whatever you think will work best for you. You'll have two options to get started adding things. One would be if you're in the table of contents section, down at the bottom. I have too many. Yours will not have this many. It has add a module. The other option is right here in the sidebar. You'll also have add a module. So you can just select it and type whatever you want to call it if you're doing weeks topics, and hit enter, and it will add it to your timeline. The other option that you have here is our click and drag handles. So if you decide if you are doing topics and you want to reorder them, or if you're adding like an introduction at the end, you can always just click and drag it up to where it needs to be, and it will move it around. Are there any questions on creating modules?
I asked a question in the chat, Kat. Can the chapter number or labels be revised or relabeled?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So after this nice shortcut method is really great for adding them. To revise them, we'll go to the table of contents. And when you're on the table of contents, you can see over here I have welcome. I have welcome here, and then I'll have this drop down arrow. Well, not that one, somewhere. Let's see. I'm sorry, I went around.
Okay.
Wouldn't that one be?
So when you click on your actual welcome item and take it to it, you have this drop down arrow right next to it, and you can edit your title.
Okay.
So if you want to change them later, you can. One of the other nice things here is you'll have your hide from users. So if you wanted to click on that and make it so your students couldn't see it while you're still working on it, you could. And if for some reason you didn't like the drag and drop, or you knew you just had to move up or down one, you could do that.
Kat, while you have that screen up, under the part that says add a description, I don't see anything where I could do a little video in there.
So you have to click on add a description, and it will open up this area, and then these couple bars here say insert stuff, the insert camera, the hyperlink. So if we go to insert stuff, you can add a video note.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So, and then your video note will be here. We'll do one while we're in here. Video notes. Hey, you'll notice that they've upped their time limit to 30 minutes for these. So that way, if you wanted to do just a short, like 2-minute intro, you can. But if you wanted to give like a longer lecture about the topic, you could, or if you needed 5 minutes, whatever works for you. At the end, we'll do one while we're in. Let's not listen to me again, but we'll stop it and we can hit next. The nice thing here is so you can title your video. So welcome intro, you can describe it. The nice thing is that if you put your language in, you can automatically generate captions from the audio. And click next, and then it will take a little bit to preview, so you could wait. I just hit insert and update, and we'll give it a minute, but it will be there. So the captions is a new feature for us, and with increased focus on UDL and accessibility, I do know that we have a couple students coming in that you may or may not end up with in class that need like captions as one of their accommodations. So the fact that this would be in here is a nice feature to make it easy. So if you are going to have those, you don't have to like hand type your transcript out. Any other questions so far?
Kat, I think Amy asked in the chat, will the video notes save when you go to use the course the next time?
We will have to double check on that. I think so, because when you are here, right, and we do, not that one. I'll just do it back in here. When you go to insert stuff, there is a video note search. So you could search for a video note and it does save them. So you can pick them out. So I could click on it and say, this is the video note I want to use.
Awesome.
Look, back in my office. Oh.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. All right, we won't put that one in there. Cancel that up. But so yes, that is a nice feature also. Thanks for asking me. So you can see the videos here. Yeah, fun times. Any other questions on the video? Oh, that's a nice face I'm making. Good pause, Kat.
Diane asked something in the chat as well. So anything I have imported from Moodle that has been pulled over as a web page, I have to redo in this content, add description, insert way, correct?
Yes, you could do it that way. So that way, I mean, I would recreate, like copy and paste most of it. If you don't like the way that they pulled over initially, if they didn't pull over nicely, you could redo them. One of the other things, and this is kind of where we're going with that file I sent you, is they have this create a file. So they don't call it a page here. They say create a file. And that would be the tool that I would use for that. So you can add all of the different things to it. The benefit to using the file is that we have these document templates built in. So it's a nice way to make your course look extra fancy without too much work. And they're already accessible templates in terms of accommodations and screen readers and all of that. So like if I were to just pick one, it gives you a nice picture that you can click on and replace. It gives you text that you can just kind of fill in and then add your own items. So like right now I picked that meet your facilitator, but there's also file with images. So you could have it, tells you how to replace image. Like, so a lot of the text that they actually put in here guides you on how to use the template.
Kat, maybe also just remind if people have a certain kind of image of themselves, sometimes it comes out sideways.
Oh yes, in the community, I don't think we've had that issue in.
It did. I tried to put it into the instructor thing, and it came out sideways, so I had to go back to the other
All
one.
right. So the photos, it's looking for a, when you add your photo like to your profile, it's looking for a portrait style photo. So if you have a landscape style photo, one that is wider than taller, it will automatically turn it. So before you upload a photo of yourself for whichever item, not in here necessarily, because these are all separate images, but for your profile photos, like in your profile, or if you do make your Brightspace community this photo, it has to be a landscape style. Otherwise, it will automatically take it if it's a, or it has to be, sorry, portrait style. If it's landscape, it automatically turns it, and you do not have the option to change it in the profile area at all. Took us a few minutes to get that one. But, all right. Let's see. So I wanted to go through the process for you guys of how you can add these different templates to your course if you would like to use it. Are there any questions so far before we go through that process?
Kat, is this for how like an individual week will look? What you're about to do?
So like if we were to go here, right? And we'll do create, oh, not a link. I can, so create a file, right? And we'll do test run. And whatever template you choose to use. And like I said, you can replace it with your own images relevant to your course, and your own content. You'll put it all in and hit save and close. It doesn't show up on this page. That's what this description area is for. But it does show up as a resource that they can click on. So if you have something that's like a lot of different items, like a long area, I wouldn't put it on this main page, because you're also going to have links to the things that you want students to do here for that week. So you don't want them to have to scroll a super lot. Versus having it here on this web page, it'll take them to a separate area, and you could have like like reading content or the videos that you want to have there. If we switch to the student view real quick. Didn't attempt that quiz yet, guys. I'm behind. All right, so you can see here's that intro area. You don't want your students to have to scroll through, like a whole lot before they get to the other items that they need to click on for the week. So if they have like a quiz to do, or if they have a discussion, I wanted that to be, or at least me personally, I'd like that to be closer to the top than all the way down at the bottom. So using this create a file function, it creates it as something that they click on, and they can go to it and scroll through it there and see everything, and then go back. And then you'll notice the completion setup, so it checks off, and they can visually see how many of the things they've clicked on in this section so far. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe so. Oh, sorry, I should look at your faces. That would help. All right. Great. So we're going to go through this process first. I am going to warn you, it is a little complex. So we're going to go through it now together. So you have that experience, and then it's recorded here, and we will also make a document of how to do this as well. Sound good? I have to look at your faces again. All right. So when you're in the table of contents area for your course, if you, I might have messed it up again, guys. Sorry, I'm still learning also, and I am a little slow at it. All right. Content. I had it earlier. I practiced this, I swear. Let's go into the welcome. Oh, I know why, guys. I did it right the first time. It's just because I'm still viewing as a student. All right. So you are in content. All right. On the table of contents, if we click this drop down, nope, I still messed it up, guys. Related tools. If you click related tools, we have manage files. So we're going to go ahead and click on manage files. All right. After you have downloaded that folder, if you're using Chrome like I am, it'll show up down here in this bottom bar, so it's easy to access. We'll go ahead and click upload. And then I will upload, drag and drop that template right to my page. All right. And I will hit save. I will now see this zip file show up right here in my file area. And I'm going to go ahead, click the drop down and select unzip. So it's going to take a few seconds to unzip. All right. So what we just did was take all of those cool templates that I was showing you before, and we have now added them to the course. Because there were so many, they were zipped and small. So now we have unzipped them so that way they're all expanded here and they can be accessed. Any questions so far? All right. Fran, I see your question. Yes, you'll be able to use Firefox. It's just that the download feature usually has that blue arrow up in the top.
Yeah, I know, and so I'm familiar with that. But I just worry because I think I know I whine about this a lot, but I don't want to put Chrome on my Apple because it has a backdoor, and even though I have malware protection now, I'm just leery of Chrome on this machine. I have it at work, so it's not a total anti-Chrominess about me.
Yes. So no, you can do this all in Firefox also. It'll just be that download portion would be slightly different.
Yeah, there. That's fine. Thanks.
Yep. So afterwards, so remember we were in related tools, we managed our files, and you upload that zip file I gave you, you clicked on it, and you unzipped it. You'll have that option because it's a zip. Right, so it'll unzip and disappear, and now you'll have all these other options. Then we'll return to our content area. All right, and we will click on settings. And now settings here kind of gives you a couple things about your content that you can set up that you want to use. So we have content arrangement. If you want to have your stuff organized by content type, you can. I like to leave it as none because we're still figuring it out and I want it to be in my order, not however they do it. But the one thing you have to do here is make sure that you enable HTML templates. So when you look at your course right now, it'll be unchecked. You will check it. If you want to sort them by name, you can. If you want to leave them unsorted, you don't have to. But then this button will say select file path. So you will click on select file path and it will take you to your course offering files, and we will look for the course files templates and we'll click on it and then select path. Oh, I think I'm in shared this way. So course offering files, and then you can click on Daily HTML template version 2, select path, and hit save. Now, when you add a file page, you will have all of those template options. Are there any questions? All right, I think that we had one in the chat pop up quick. All right, so Diane, they do not merge. This is only if you start from scratch. And thank you for asking that because you reminded me that if you want to use a template, you have to put the template in first. All right, if you were to type all of your content and then select the template, it will delete what you have typed. So you'll want to make sure that you add the template first. All right. So, any other questions on that? All right. So,
I do have a question.
sure.
I'm probably the dumbest person in this group. I honestly don't know what this is for. I know you just went through all this stuff. Can you just, in English, like, just plain English without showing, say when would I use this?
So if you wanted to give students several different resources that are already on the web and wanted to provide kind of commentary or additional guidance, that's when I would use it. So if I'm starting, different data types, I might have like a little blurb where I type and I say, hey, here's all the different data types. Watch this YouTube video about it. It's super awesome. And then go down and say, be careful because sometimes you might get confused here. And then
Do
I
you
might
usually
have a
use it for do you usually use it just for one resource? Or let's say I have four videos that I feel, are important.
No, you could actually have them all on the same page. Like
Okay.
if you had 4 YouTube videos, you could have all 4 YouTube videos embedded on the same page.
So it gives you a spot where you can put the URLs in or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I know that sounds very basic, but
No, it's all right. And it's a little different. We did have the web page in Moodle and some people did use them, but I don't think a lot of people did. And part of that's probably our fault because we didn't clarify enough how it was meant to be used. So this one, it kind of has that same functionality. It provides a space for you to guide your students through different resources that you have available to them without junking up your main page. So rather than listing all of your videos here, you can put them on that file page so they can kind of go through and read it, and you can have those additional commentaries. And then because of the templates, it provides something that's more, aesthetically pleasing. And while that's not necessarily relevant to your content at all, if you think about things that we like to look at and read through, we'd rather have something that looks a little nicer and some images to engage us rather than just straight up text. Any other questions?
Can I ask a question? It's Deb.
Hey.
Hi. So are you recommending that we import these templates regardless if we're importing a class from Moodle? In other words, I'd be importing my stuff from Moodle. So do you recommend that we import these templates anyway?
That's really up to you. Personally, I would, because that way, if you decide that you do want to start making your own file pages here, they're already there for you to use.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anything else? I told you that was our most complex piece, guys. That's what we started early with that one. All right. So the couple other things that I kind of wanted to show you guys, I know we had briefly mentioned it elsewhere, maybe not with you guys, too many meetings to keep track. But you can, if you wanted to add other things, you can always just do the upload create button. So earlier, just as a sample, I added a link, and I actually added a link to a Google Sheet for my class. So, and I made it so that anybody who has the link can edit it. So while I'm actually in Brightspace right now, students can click on it and actually type their name and then just answer the questions or whatever they're supposed to be collaborating on right within the LMS. Because this is the first song I can think of.
I love this.
Me too. But so I'll go back and we'll go through the actual steps, but I did want to put one in here so you guys could see it. Also, while we're here, you'll notice that we have this little bookmark feature. And now the bookmarks are individual. So what you bookmark versus what your students bookmark versus, you know, is everybody has their own personalized bookmarks. But if this is something that you want to check on often, you can click on the bookmark tab and we'll see it here. And then back on our content page, there is the bookmarks tab right here. So you can see how many bookmarks you have and it'll give you quick links to those items. But any questions on that? Sorry, I jumped real fast there.
I have a question about the bookmarks.
Yeah.
So would that be only bookmarks for this course, or if they bookmark things in multiple courses, would that be for all courses that they bookmarked?
Per course.
Okay.
Yeah, so just what's relevant in this course that they might want to jump to. So, yes. All right, so if I go back to the welcome, because this is where I'm messing around, we'll do upload, create. And then all I did was create a link. For that example that I showed you, I just added a Google Drive link for that sheet, but you can title it, and then you'll paste the URL in here, whatever it may be. It does have the option to open as an external resource, meaning it won't be embedded on the page. At this point, I'm leaving all of mine personally unchecked, so it opens right within the LMS, so there's less going in and out, but there may be a time where you think of one that you need to do that with. But you hit create, and then it'll add it down to the bottom as a link, and you can use your click and drag to move it to wherever you need it to go. Are there any questions on adding a link? Right. The same thing here when you do upload, create a video or audio. If you click on that, it'll say web video or audio, so you can enter the URL code like from a YouTube one. If you actually click here on what can be embedded, it has lots of different website suggestions. So if you're like, I'm tired of YouTube, it actually has some other areas that to direct you to that you can embed easily here. Or if you have your own videos, you can always upload those as well. But then here, so I did a sample one. When I click on it, you'll notice we're still within Brightspace, which is nice, and the video is embedded here. This is my son's current favorite YouTube enjoyment. We watch hours and hours of monster trucks. But are there any questions on that? All right. I do want to add for all of the items down here for activity details, you can have it set to how it marks off as complete. You can make it visible, invisible. You can add date restrictions. So, you know, if you didn't want them to open this until August 1st, you could do that. You can create different types of release conditions pretty much on anything that's in here. So assignments, you can even make sure that nothing's released until they receive feedback from you on an assignment, which I think is cool. Discussions, if they've posted in a topic, if they have scores on rubrics, all sorts of different release conditions that we have in here based on what you need, and you can put them on pretty much anything. So here I'm gonna do, let's see, completed checklist, so they'd have to finish something else. Oh, I don't have any checklists available. Dagnabbit. So I'd say they couldn't watch this until they got a certain score on this quiz. It would have to be greater than or equal to a 90. And then they'd be able to access this. You'll notice some of the examples there, you could even do like in between or below. So you could have items that release just to your students who might have struggled on an assignment. You might have items that release just to students who did really well. So that way you could kind of target things for your low end and high end performers.
Where would we find the submission folder if we chose that one?
So like this wouldn't be a submission folder, that would be a separate item that we would have added first. So as far as uploading or creating, you would upload or create an assignment. And so then when you do the assignment, it would give you the option, paragraph. And then you would leave the submission type as file submission. There's also a text submission if you wanted them to type right here on the page. And if you were doing like a live session, you could even do observed in person per se, but something that you observed instead. But file submission, I'm not going to hide this assignment. You can type in all your instructions. You can have all those fun buttons here. So we have that insert stuff. So you could insert a video note if you wanted. You could insert a YouTube video in the instructions, whatever you need. And hit save. And then it will take you to all of the additional settings. So you can add attachments like sample items if you needed to. You can add dates restrictions. You can change if they have unlimited files, one attempt, different items, if they're allowed to reflect it in their e-portfolio, if you want it to just be for your class. And then there's the add a grade item. So if you wanted this to be in the grade book, you could click on it and say it's 100 points and different items.
Okay.
Any other questions? I think we're talking more about those next week. Yeah. So those interactive elements are more we're going to dive into a lot more next week and setting those up and the differences between them.
I think we had a chat question. Is all of this mobile friendly, like mostly referring to the embedded links and videos and such?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So, all right. Any other questions so far? All right. So, things. So I think that's it for most of the content questions that we had. I would, because there's not too many different ways. It's really just if you're going to be adding different links or YouTube videos, or if you're going to use that page function in those templates to present your content that way. So you'll see you'll be able to edit your photos here. You'll be able to Stephanie, you talked about having videos. You can have like your little overview of the video and what to look for. And then the video, then you can scroll down and say, here's the next video, what to look for, and kind of guide them through it rather than having all of the links separately. It can all be here together. While we're in here, they also have these navigation arrows right here at the top. So it'll just kind of take them through everything in that section at once that they can go through. Anybody's interested in monster trucks, I highly recommend these videos. But then when they're done, it'll take them out too. So like this is a sub module. So they finished everything in my welcome module. So it takes them back out and gives them an overview of the next module coming. And then they click on it, it'll take them through the items. So we'll talk about more about these items next week. So these are the interactive elements. So discussions, quizzes, assignments, fun things. I do also, if you're not sure how to set up your course, I'm pretty sure I added everybody to a course called Course Outlines to get started. If you haven't looked at it yet, but you're not sure how you want to set up your course, they actually have a couple examples here for you. They also talk about the HTML templates like we just did, but they kind of have some guidelines on where you may want to start depending on the type of course that you teach. So if you click on it, you know, we can go into it and it'll kind of tell you about it. And it kind of talks about the outline a little bit from a pedagogical perspective, and kind of tells you what things you may want to include. So if you're like, I don't know where to start with how I want to organize my course, these might be a good thing to review and just look at to get ideas. All right. I think that's all I have for today. So any questions you guys want? We still have 20 minutes about this, about other things. Well, other hopefully Brightspace related things.
I have a question about the syllabus,
Yes.
or I guess it goes to the course schedule. So is the course schedule automatically populated by all the due dates you put into the course?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not linked to the syllabus.
No, it is not
Okay.
linked to the syllabus, just from the items that are here. And it always starts out with just this upcoming area up
Okay.
for a week, but they can also click on full schedule and see everything.
Because when I click on full schedule in mine, like the dates are not in order, if that makes sense.
All right.
Like they're not in any type of chronological order, which I thought was strange. So I didn't know if and obviously like I
Yeah.
imported from Moodle. So I didn't, and I obviously have to change the dates. So like I didn't know if
Right.
when I change the dates, it'll automatically reorder everything.
I would think so, but we will have
Okay.
to double check.
Okay.
I will make sure to ask. I don't know if I set dates up on my stuff yet.
Okay.
It did. There you go.
Yeah,
We are
other than the pictures and the Moodle pages, everything came over pretty decently, I think. So I think I'm just going to have to change like the pictures, and I've been following along, and the instructions that you guys did last week for the pictures worked. And then I
awesome.
just followed along with the pages, and that worked nice. So I'm just going to have to go through every week and do those things. But other than that, the way it came over, it just came in every week, the week modules, and mine looks okay for me.
That's awesome. Yay.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
Me too. I like the way it looks, and especially, and I'm going to try it on my phone. And I downloaded the app, but like I'm already getting like notifications, and I think I have to
Yes.
turn them off because there's a ton of them. But like, oh, this has changed. This has been updated. Like I'm getting dings all over the place. So they should not have any kind of, excuses
Yes.
about I didn't get that notification,
Yes. It's
but it looks great on there.
great.
Diane, you do a student voice as well as I do. I'm impressed.
I get excited about this stuff. I don't know.
No, it
Maybe
is. It's neat.
I missed my calling.
I think so. So, real quick, if we go back to the syllabus page, I don't remember if we talked about it last week, but I'll review it now. We have this area, it will say syllabus. So for us, it's super nice for the students because they all have the same place to go for their syllabus, which I think will be beneficial. But for your syllabus, you can just click this add attachment button. I'm going to pick this random Word document that I happen to have downloaded lately. But the nice thing, you do the attachment, and this will take a second because it's a few pages, but your syllabus appears right here on the page as your Word or PDF document, however you choose to share it with them. And you can actually up here in the description area, you could add a little video note about getting started for the semester and what to pay close attention to in the syllabus and what to read and all of those fun things. And you could do that.
Kat, there's something I wanted to say about that. I noticed that you can't edit the syllabus when it's in that box. You have to go back to your desktop or wherever you have your syllabus and submit it
Yes.
for any changes.
Yes, it's just like if you were to attach something to an email.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can't edit it right there. You'd have to redo it on your computer and then add it. In the settings feature, there is so this drag and drop save behavior right? So like if I drag this file up now, like I just did, I can check this option, replace files with the same name. So that way it'll just replace it automatically for you.
I don't understand. How does it know to replace it automatically for me?
Well, in terms of saving it, so like it won't ask you like, are you sure you want to do it? Like if it was a different file name.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So
Yeah.
it'll do
Okay.
that
Yeah.
nicely.
Yeah.
But and eventually something that might be nice here. Let me see if I can explain this well. So there's also this show a prompt to choose a folder in your course files. So earlier, if this starts to confuse you, just don't listen. You don't have to. It was just something cool that I learned about. So in this manage files area where we added those templates, if you had a file that was like your whole course, right? Here, I'm going to hit upload. And all right, let's see. All right, so let's see. I'm going to rename this folder. I feel like it will make
Hello?
sense. I don't know.
Hello?
Here, I'm not going to rename. All right. So if you had like a whole
Hold on 1
folder
minute.
that you wanted, let's see, rename. So if you had an entire folder with all of your items for your course in it, right? You could take that whole folder and upload it to your course files. Oh, because it's images and stuff. That was a bad example. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see. I don't know. I don't have a good example folder because I'm a slacker and I'm bad at organizing my course files. No, this one might not be too bad. Let's see if it likes it. Right. I'm sorry, I don't have a good folder choice. But if you had one folder full of everything for your course, you could upload everything to your course at one time in this file area. And then when you were in your content, it has add from manage files. So you'd be able to click on, say, add from manage files and just select it. So rather than drag and dropping in each place, you could just upload everything at once and then click on it to add it where you needed to.
So Pat, that would work if we have a folder for our class that we have saved, like in Dropbox. I use Dropbox. I
Yeah.
could bring that whole folder into here, and then as week by week, if I need something from that folder, it's already on the system.
Yes, exactly.
Would we need to zip the folder before we upload it?
Possibly. It depends on how big your folder is.
Okay.
So if you try it and it says it's too big, obviously, then that would be a time to zip. And then you could unzip it just like we did with the HTML template. But you could try it unzipped first and see.
Okay.
But yes, so I'm glad I explained it slightly better than I demoed it. Right. Do you guys have any other questions?
I do have something to mention, actually. I was looking through my notes again, and whenever you upload a file, it automatically changes it to a PDF, which is why it takes a bit for it to actually display. So if you wanted to, you can save it as a PDF beforehand, and then it'll just kind of plop up super fast because it does it for you anyway. So just something to keep in mind.
So I have a file that I like to use for students that are all worksheets for them to cut and paste and use in their own documents. Is that going to automatically be changed to a PDF?
I believe so. At least that's what I remember from training.
It's only changed to a PDF for the display.
Oh, okay.
Right? So it's changed here for the display, but then when I download it, it downloads as a Word document.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, so that's only for the display functionality within the LMS. So that way, if you have something that you want to share with them, but it's not like the student doesn't like to junk up their computer, or maybe they don't have a good connection and or they have like a slow download speed, it will be visible here, and then they could choose to download it.
Kat, you'll go over assignments next week?
Yes, next week we're doing the more interactive pieces for students. So the quizzes, assignments, and discussions. And then I think Riley actually talked about this piece a little bit last week, how to bring it into the content tool, but we will also review it again next week. And then at the end of the month, we're going to do kind of the grade book and different ways that you can look at student progress and grading student submissions for like an assignment.
Ken, I have a question about access, and it goes back to something that I did in Moodle that you made a suggestion change to. I had, in our first assignment, I had uploaded an attachment to have students open, and you had suggested that it should actually be in the Moodle announcements page because some students might have difficulties with access. It looks to me like here in Brightspace, a lot of stuff is attachments and things you have to click on to link. How is that going to be easily or not easily accessible for students with bad connections and stuff like that?
So far, actually, all of the things that we have done are not an attachment. So like we are doing the attaching on our end,
Okay.
but like on the syllabus, it's already embedded it in the page.
Okay.
So this is not an attachment. If they want to download it, the attachment, they're able.
Okay, I see.
But it's not an actual attachment. It displays just like this, and it displays like this on a phone or on the computer.
Does it reformat it? I mean, I don't use a phone for stuff like this. My eyes don't like things that are that small anymore.
Oh,
but
yeah. Not usually
it
because it's PDF. So PDF generally just creates like an image of the page.
Right.
So it doesn't reformat it. And then if they download it, if there were any changes, you know, or if you noticed something was off, you could add that to the description and say it's recommended that you download this file because some of the formatting was changed for the online view.
And this is a newbie question, and I think all of you guys could answer this for me. Do most students use their phones, or are they using laptops, or are they using iPads? I mean, what should my expectation be about how easy or hard it's going to be for them to read stuff?
They use their phones. They do everything they can on their phones. And even like in the fall, so I have a lab manual that's online, but it's web accessible. They were like entering lab data on their phone in the classroom. And I'm like, how are you doing that? Like, you know, because I usually don't let them use their phone as a calculator, but then because of food safety. But out of the lab, I was like, fine, use it as a calculator. As long as it's not on a test, I don't give a shit. But like, this is just, I don't know. I mean, I feel I sound like an old person because I'm like, how are you seeing that? But they
I am
read
an old person,
articles
so
on their phone. They see everything on their phone. And I'm looking at my Brightspace as a student right now on my phone. And basically it flips through like pages on a website. And I do have the iPhone 11. It's a little bit bigger and it actually looks really nice. And so like you're saying PDFs, they're embedded in the page. They don't have to download them. But I mean, I don't know if you can see what I'm looking at. You probably can't, but like it looks really nice. So like I have a research article on there. It immediately opens it up like a page. And is it small? Absolutely. But like they would be just zooming in on every paragraph. But they do they do everything on their phone. I had maybe one person with an iPad, one person with like what are they called? A Chromebook type thing. And then some people would bring laptops, but I would say the majority of people were doing these things on their phones.
I've had students write papers on their phones.
Yeah.
Amy, yeah, it's a whole different world for them.
Yeah, part of our surveys for the LMS investigation, majority of students said that they do access on like a mobile device of some sort. So personally for me, part of the big sells in relation to that were that the app has better reviews on Google, on Android and like Apple sites. And personally, I like the app. I think we're going to demo that at some point because on Google Meet, I can share my cell phone screen with you from from actually joining on my phone, which will be cool. But then other items like this, how all of the pages display on Fran actually makes it so they can access everything on their phone. So like it's harder to open, like an older phone may not open a PDF in some cases, depending on the browser, it'll want to download it and then they have to open it in their files or like Word docs, Excel docs, everything will just open on the web page. They don't have to download to their mobile device.
I guess, I mean, I'm a great one for appropriating worry, but one of the things I'm really worried about in classes like the ones that I teach, and Riley, you know what, literature looks like. I mean, you all know what literature looks like on a screen, but, I'm worried about them just saying, well, there's too many words. I don't want them to be like Emperor Franz Joseph. I want them to be able to read the texts. I'm recommending to my students actually, although I ordered a book through the bookstore for my lit survey, which is the one I'm doing all my course building on. The book rep from Norton actually gave me the download for the PDF version or the online version of the book, which is like less than half the price of the paper version. So I know that most of the students are going to order that, and I encourage them to because I think the cost of the book is outrageous. But at the same time, I'm going back and forth between, well, at least they can read it on the book page. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but I mean, at this point, they'll choose what they're most comfortable with, and a lot of them are so on the go or moving around. I'll even say I'm guilty of it working from home, like especially with the kids. Like if they need something, I'll end up working on my phone for an hour and send all of my emails from there and everything, just because it's easy to take with me. But
well, I hear no one offering consolation, so I guess I'm just going to have to live with it.
no. Oh. Christine, you said you missed last week. It's on the invite from last week. If you're not on, if the invitation isn't on your Google Calendar from last week, email me and Riley, and one of us will share the file with you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And then I've also, I guess here, while I'm still presenting, and you guys are looking at me, looking at you, our website, marywood.edu/brightspace. I did make some small updates to it, so that timeline for implementation is still down here. But on the faculty resources page, down here in training, we have the subscription training information up if you don't have access to that. And under resources, I shared with you Brightspace's YouTube channel. Here's our one from last week, a link to our summer series training playlist where all of these videos will be, and then documentation. So we have the getting started with Brightspace, and I also gave you the link to the Brightspace Documentation Help Center, which is their resources for all of these items and what they have on, how to make a quiz or how to add a file or all of those things. So that is there for you. All right then. Well, thank you everybody for coming.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
thanks for learning with me and Riley and Margaret as we go through the learning process also.
It's a good weekend, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah.
You too.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Bye-bye.